Hello everyone and welcome back to a very special Magical Moon video.
Indeed it is. We are here with the one and only Thomas, and he stole the internet's heart, he's stolen our heart, and he's going to steal yours if you haven't seen him already. Dear Thomas came to us in the most horrific condition 3 months ago, and we've worked really hard here on the farm, but without you guys and the supporters of Team Thomas and our patrons, this wouldn't be possible. So you're going to have a synopsis of what happened from 3 months ago, and we're going to put it all together, and you are going to watch the day in the life of Thomas.
So enjoy the video.
See you soon.
While another one closes. That's how it always goes. One heart's breaking while another one is mending. It's all in the ebb and flow. If I had to, I could go it alone, but I don't ever need to, because I have a home, somewhere to run to. I could live alone in the woods, not a single sound, but I would never feel alone, because you've become my home. These windows could shatter to the ground, these walls could fall right down, the lights could all burn out, because this house is not my home. Crumble into dust, I don't need that much, I don't need to roam, because you've become my home. One step forward follows one step backwards. That's what it takes to grow. One life left is another that's just starting, and that's just the way it goes. If I had to, I could go it alone, but I don't ever need to, because I have a home, someone to run to. I could live alone in the woods, not a single sound, but I would never feel alone, because you've become my home. These windows could shatter to the ground, these walls could fall right down, the lights could all burn out, because this house is not my home. Crumble into dust, I don't need that much, and I don't need to roam, because you've become my home. Because you've become my home. You've become my home. You've become my
First stop of the day is our alleyway here, and there's some really lovely grass. He's got grass in his field and we've opened it up, so now he's got the best of two fields. This is a little treat on the way out and he loves it. So this is the new paddock that Thomas has been let into. We were resting it, we were setting it aside so the grass came on, and it definitely started to grow. We've had that second spring here. It's absolutely gorgeous. Everything's really started to get going. What that means now is that he's got double the space that he had before, and he just roams about. He's very, very peaceful. He's very easygoing, and even with Cantho, or we get visitors, we get the free rangers coming right up beside him. We get Kimmy and Totty, two little girls, and he's such a gent with them. There's the odd squeal and the odd, you know, little bit of play, but as I said, he's very, very calm. But on the nutrition side, this is so important. It's just getting as many nutrients into him as we can. And really good grass is the way forward. And he's definitely got that.
So here we are in the feed room, and this is the next stage of Thomas's morning. And as you can imagine, breakfast is a biggie, and he does enjoy it. And he's started to call for it now. So he sees me walk and he knows exactly what I'm going to do. The basis of his food is this thing called Long Life, and it's amazing, and it works really, really well for elderly horses. I mean, we have lots of older horses here, as you know, but this is a great start, like a porridge at the bottom. And what it does is, because they're over the years, the wear and tear on their teeth, it's quite hard for some horses, especially when they lose them, or one side slightly lower and the other side slightly higher, or they've got points on their teeth. Even with the dentist, which they have regularly here, they do struggle to eat as they get older. So what this does is you put water in it and it expands and makes a lovely soft warm porridge for them. And on top of that, I add little bits of different feeds to maintain and sort of take away and give what I think that they need. So this is my basis feed for most of the horses. Some of them don't have it, but most of the horses. And Thomas has at least one sack of this every 2 days, so you can imagine just how much he's eating. So this entire sack ends up inside that big boy, and it's doing him good. So let's move on to the chaff. Okay, so this is his chaff. So this is just chopped grass with a tiny bit of molasses and a few pony nuts and bit of maize. So it's nice all-rounder for him, but it actually encourages him to chew, because of course if he's just on porridge, he just sort of takes it in and swallows it down, whereas this actually makes him chew. So this is part of his lovely diet. Okay, and these are just pony nuts, so they've sort of an all-rounder with some vitamins in there, and they're just to give him a little bit of crunch, again to make him chew, because when he first arrived he was eating very, very quickly, because obviously he was very, very worried he wasn't going to get the food. So this slows him down a little bit. And to begin with, he was having tiny feeds. He was having up to sort of 8 to 10 feeds a day, and now he's just on 3. And yeah, he's looking good on it. So that was 8 litres of water that's just gone into his porridge there. And it's a really, really good thing, because what it means is, you know, he's also getting the water on board. Now, we all know Thomas drinks an awful lot of water, so water isn't actually an issue for him. But what it does do is make sure the transit keeps moving. So everything that goes in his tummy goes out the other end properly, because it's all nice and soft and the work's already done, apart from that little bit of chewing of the nuts and the chaff that I've given him. So there's nothing else to do but to go and give it to the big boy himself.
this is definitely the glamorous part of the job, and I've got an industrial solution for it. Thomas is a very big boy, and with that comes, well, everything that goes in must come out, and it's one of those jobs which is a challenge to say the least. And we've got about 14 of the four-legged furries all stabled, they're all undercover, and so it's part of the day's routine. But as with everything large, as I say, he is a machine. This is part of it. So I've got my site manager, Harold, he oversees me. Let's get on with it. All the animals that are stabled here, there's no concrete in the barn. So in all the stables or the stalls, there's no fixed firm base. What there is the natural base, which allows stuff to filter out and go through. But we leave a nice wedge of bedding underneath, and then we just have to take off the top. And we've got these compressed wood pellets, which work really well. Some people do sprinkle a bit of water on them and they just puff up a bit, but we like to leave them on top, and then we mix a bit of wood chip just for a bit of comfort. And with a horse like Thomas, it's so important to keep those big feet as dry and as clean as possible. And we're very privileged to be able to spend all our days with the horses, with all the animals, and we're always in and out of the stables, we're doing stuff. So when they're stabled in or on a rainy day, we're never too far away and we can keep them really clean. And that's the art. The art is in keeping them as clean as possible, and in turn it keeps them dry and healthy. But we do have this fork, and some of you may be wondering about it. What this does, as you scoop it up, you can go to scoop up the nasty stuff, and then you just shake it. All the good stuff, the pellets and the shavings, go through, and we're just left with the stuff that needs to go in the trailer. It's really good. So that's it, that's his bed done, but I've just had a call from the feed shop and we've got to go and get some supplies anyway. But I've got a really useful bit of kit which Thomas had a little incident with, all will be revealed. So let's go. So here we have the normal blue bucket. We've got what was Thomas's middle bucket because he did have a pond, this big white tub. We've gone and got him a new one because it succumbed to the same fate as the middle one. But these are stronger, they're a bit lower and they fit more comfortably in the corner. And it is a real challenge because when these horses come, especially Thomas, we don't know how long he'd been deprived of water. He was in such a sorry state. And we've seen it with many rescues. Grace is a perfect example. When she first came, every time you gave her a little bit of water, and you have to be careful and introduce it, she just kept drinking. And now she hardly touches it. She'll just have the healthy amount. But it is those initial few months, maybe even half a year to a year, where they still got that whole flight and fight reaction to everything. They just don't know what's going to happen or when it's going to be taken away from them. And of course we give them all that love and support and care, and it goes a long way, but you still have to cater for what's gone on before. And this is a really good way, so at night or any time of the day, he's never going to be without. So let's talk hay, and Thomas absolutely loves his hay. And before we used to use the big round bales and fill hay nets. And the equivalent of that in Thomas's stable would be probably having 10 hay nets all around the stable. So these little bales that are compact and together really are convenient. And we know if we have 2 of those into Thomas's stable during the day and the night, he's getting what he needs. And of course, if he ever needs any more, we're not too far away. So there you have it, that's a day in the a day in the life of a horse that's really coming into his own and expressing himself, and it's lovely to be able to hear him. He was completely mute when he first arrived. And some of you have mentioned about that previous video. It did really, really well. It's done it's done over 400,000 views, and bits of it were blurred out. And that was because YouTube weren't happy with the content. They didn't think it was ad suitable. And we obviously thought, you know, it was pretty progressive and there wasn't anything which was that shocking. We just wanted to show exactly what we were dealing with, and then obviously what we had afterwards. And that goes with his mane and why we didn't cut it off straight away, and why we were going to try and train his crest one way or the other. All those ongoing issues, which he still has some of, but every day he's getting slowly stronger and slowly he's getting more nourished and obviously feeling a lot more vibrant, which is so lovely to see. And to be able to share it with you guys is fantastic. A massive thank you to Patreon, obviously Team Thomas. It goes without saying, if you want to adopt Thomas, you can. Go over and check that out. Jenny will put a link in. But to all our supporters, to everyone who's donated, all your lovely kind words of support, this is what it's all about. And you've made it happen. With lots of love, stay magical. And we will see you next time. Oh.